Welcome, my friends, to the showdown between the Warriors of Chaos, who shall be led by the Warp Chicken. And today, my friends, we face off against the Dark Elves, who shall be led by Hadries. And I believe it's going to be a Dreadlord with the crossbow. Let's go and double check here. I think the female Dreadlord is the one with the sword and board, and this one is the one with the crossbow. So now, as far as my build goes, I certainly can't take credit for this. I actually played against the great Peabutter Special, who did very well in many of our ECLs here on the channel, and I played Dark Elves against him in a tournament a couple weeks ago, and this was pretty much his exact build. I think it was a little bit different. I think he had like the mirror guard and changed some things out here and there, but it did really well against my Dark Elves, and I pretty much had a build just like Hadries, although I don't think I had the Corsair handbows, but I went with Scourge Runners, Repeater Crossbows. I had Malekith up on this guy instead of a Dreadlord, and the Chaos build was really, really strong. So what he has here, basically, is he has a Hell Cannon, and Hell Cannon, of course, is kind of a keeping it honest type thing. You basically just cycle between the Corsair handbows, you shoot at the Dark Riders, and even though Dark Riders can kind of juke it, Hell Cannons have like a sort of weird tracking mechanism where they sort of follow you. And honestly, they can usually hit every now and then. It's not going to be every shot, but it certainly can keep your opponent honest and really forces a bit of a time bomb here on the game. We do also have a Chaos Warrior group with Halberds back here, and the rest of the build is going to be Marauders because I have to invest a lot in my monsters, my characters to kind of play the skirmish game. So I have Chaos Marauders into the Sunset, one group of Chaos Knights, no Lances, just a little bit cheapo here, but these guys do, of course, have the nice shields and armor and pretty good sustained combat, so they're going to be teamed up with these Warhounds just as a pressure piece. And another group of Honest Warhounds as well. And as far as our skirmishing goes, Horsemasters are quite good here, but really I found that Marauder Horsemen are just so cost effective. 27 missile damage. I think Horsemasters have like, 36 or something, so the difference isn't that big. And Marauder Horsemen only cost like 500 gold and really are a great counter-skirmishing tool against the Dark Riders with Repeater Crossbows, because they can chase them and they can defeat them in combat. Based on the stat line, and yeah, they do it to it. We got the Warp Chicken as well, so Warp Chicken has a pretty cool combo here, and Exalted Heroes, I've noticed them making a bit of a comeback in the metagame. So Exalted Heroes with the Mark of Khorne, which is an actual ability or item you add to them, they have crazy weapon strength. You can see here they're at 505, 63 melee attack, a huge charge bonus at 59. So what you do is you Plague of Rust your target. So it could be a Black Dragon, for example, puts them down to like 20 armor. And then two 500 weapon strength units just beating on you. That can take them out so damn quick. And that's pretty much what happened in my game against Peabutter. He's able to get his two Manticores and really beat down my Malekith. And I was super surprised. So that is it for my build, and here for the Forces of Hadries, he does have the Dreadlord with the sword and crossbow, 3 Scourge Runners, 3 Repeater Crossbows, little light Cavcore here. He has some Dark Riders and Harvesters, Handbows, and it looks like also a Spirit Leecher as well. Let's get the show on the road, guys, and have some fun. So the Hell Cannon is going to be shooting up here. I believe my initial targets were onto the Black Arc Corsairs with Handbows. I don't know why that was such a tongue twister there. Just totally caught me off guard. But nonetheless, the Hell Cannon is going to be shooting in. Must be a little bit early in the morning here. And yeah, I suppose it is. The Hell Cannon is going to be shooting in after the Dark Riders, who of course have better range. So you can see here 115 range, I think, against 80 on my Marauder Horsemen. And the Scourge Runners are a really powerful tool for kind of forcing me back. But, you know, if they're shooting against some Marauder Horsemen instead of against my Exalted Heroes, I'm okay with that. It's not really the end of the world. A little bit of counter-skirmishing here. I'm going to be charging in here. The Manticores are also pressuring in, and it looks like one of them is going to get Spirit Leeched. Hell Cannon come in and just narrowly missing right there. So as far as the initial engagements go, it's going pretty well for Hadries here. He's able to really beat down some of my horsemen. On the far side, we do have an opportunity here. Some Hounds are going to be chasing the Harvesters and some of these Dark Riders, so I pressure forward with a pretty big portion of my army. So I, of course, have the Chaos Marauders and the Chaos Knights, and the Hounds are nipping at the heels here of these Dark Riders, and we'll see if they're able to catch them. As far as this fighting goes, Marauder Horseman still going here. A Hell Cannon shot coming in. Looks like it might make contact. Brutal, and that's what I'm talking about. All it takes is one Hell Cannon shot, a little bit of pressure, and you can generally get your value from those bad boys in this matchup. And also, if the Dark Elves do go with like a box build, if they have like the Black Guard and Harganeth Executioners and try and play the infantry game, the Hell Cannon is also very good there. Now here we have another fight. Alan's able to catch the Dark Riders, and the Chaos Knights charge in as well. I figured it wouldn't be a bad situation having the Chaos Knights charge into the Slaanesha's Harvesters. Also, there's going to be a Searing Doom coming down from the Chicken here, and the Chaos Marauders are going to be charging in as well. But a Soul Stealer being popped, the Dragon coming in, I realized too late that this was a huge mistake. I lose my Chaos Knights, but, I put a bit of a dent here in the Harvesters and do a little bit of skirmishing, but ultimately, I lost about 2,000 gold. I lost the Chaos Knights plus Hounds, which is, I think, 1,900 gold. And Hadries, maybe took like 800, 900 gold worth of damage. So really, the Dark Elves do come out very, very far ahead in that matchup there. But the battle's far from over here. Of course, the Marauder Horsemen are kiting back. Chariots are coming in as well, looking to charge into my very loose and forlorn Marauders here, who are a little bit away from the support. But the Chicken will be turning around. He's got his drumstick. Certainly can beat down some of the Scourge Runners if he wants to. No, opts to kind of pull back here. No, we do go in there. I wasn't quite sure what I ended up doing in that situation. but it's a very messy one, to say the least. Hell Cannon still shooting. Here my Exalted Heroes are just kind of circling about. My Marauder Horseman here will be throwing in, but Hadri's does react very quickly to all my Searing Dooms. I pop one here, seeing if I could catch him sitting on his hands there, but alas, he is able to dodge it. But a Hell Cannon shot, a direct hit right into the center mass, and some of the Chaos Marauders are able to kind of corral them into some of the Javelin fire from the Marauder Horseman. So as far as the bounce power goes, a little bit Dark Elf favored, but that's pretty much explicitly from the fact that I screwed up with my Chaos Knights, but it's not something we can't come back from. So the Scourge Hunter Chariots here are charging in, going for the freebies here on the Marauders, and my Marauder Horseman, I could engage them in combat, but I'm a little bit apprehensive. The Soul Stealer kind of scared me, and honestly, for most of this battle, I actually thought this Dreadlord was Malekith, so because I saw a Soul Stealer in that engagement, so I was like, oh, it was him. But yeah, I looked probably about now, and I was like, oh wait, that's a Dreadlord? I don't need to respect him quite as much in melee combat. But yeah, the Corsairs are advancing, of course, giving me a little bit danger close here, and I do have some troops left back here, so I left some Marauders back here in reserve just to kind of push forward and deal with these. I basically just wanted to keep these skirmishers away from his chariots and different things like that, or keep my infantry away from the chariots and force him to fight my skirmishers. But I will be pulling up here soon, and arguably it might have been a bit of a mistake, but I feel like just playing this long game is the right idea. Hell Cannon coming in once again, a bit of a swing and a miss, but you can see the Dark Riders have taken some pretty heavy damage, and my Marauder Horsemen have taken some damage as well, but from a cost perspective, like trading, I think my Horsemen have come out a little bit ahead in that trading department. Hell Cannon shot coming in once again, able to sing right into the center mass there, able to take out a couple models. Now the Warp Chicken is going to be jumping over here, going after the Scourge Runners, and once the Scourge Runners run out, I'm certainly going to be in pretty good shape for sure, because you know, they got nerfed pretty hard as far as their HP goes and their mass goes, so I should be a little bit more durable against them compared to what they used to be. So we're able to tear out off some of the Dark Riders here. Corsair Handbows are actually a really good choice, and Hadri's has been doing a good job putting like steady pressure on me here. But now we go for a pretty big fight in the sky. We have the Exalted Heroes with the Mark of Khorne fighting against the Dreadlord here. I do overcast Plague of Rust. So now this bad boy's down to 20 armor, and you can see he's probably going to be taking some huge damage here. Yeah, 2,900. Man, such a beating here from these Exalted Heroes, and they're going to keep chasing him. I think they're a little bit faster. No, slower, actually. 85 against 90, but I know that if I can chase this guy, if I can break him, that's going to be a huge boon for us in this game. Hadri's with a nice countercharge right here. These Slaanesha's Harvesters do dogpile into my Horseman, who was very aggressively pushing forward, trying to put as much damage as I possibly could here on this Dreadlord, and the Dreadlord's getting really beat up, guys. He might be going down here. Hounds come in from the side. I'm able to get a really good engagement here against the Dark Riders, lock them down, prevent their shooting, and now it looks like the Dreadlord is going to be landing. So one of my Exalted Heroes is super beat up here. You can see he's taking a lot of the Corsair fire, which, you know, is decent. It's not like heavy AP, but it still matters. So we come back up. We're trying to get the good rear charge engagement here. Spirit Leech going down as well from the Dark Elf Sorceress, but honestly, the Dreadlord is not going to like this engagement. 761, the Warp Chicken's beating on him, all these Exalted Heroes are beating on him. Scourge Hunter Chariots from Hadri's are being pushed into melee combat, and they still shoot their big ballistas while they're in melee combat. That's going to be quite strong, so basically I lose my Exalted Heroes more or less. I still have one that's in okay shape, so I'm trying to get this bad boy back up in the sky to go after the Dreadlord and chase him off the battlefield, and I do get him back up in the sky. The Searing Doom goes down on the Scourge Runners, doing a little bit of damage. In the meantime, my Chaos Warhounds are chewing on the Slaanesha's Harvesters, which Harvesters are probably going to be able to finish off the Hounds, but it's really not bad damage. And knowing he was getting a little bit danger close to my Hell Cannon, I pulled the Marauders from reserve back here, and I send them in to basically just chase the Corsairs to the edge of the map. So here we're chasing here, guys, but unfortunately Hadri's does a really good job with the Scourge Runners, and I didn't know this during the game. I was like, how is my Exalted Hero going down here? But the Scourge Hunter Chariots are actually laying a ton of damage into him, and also a Spirit Leech coming down from the caster, proving to be super valuable. So the Exalted Hero chasing down the Dreadlord here. Oh man, it's getting so close to the edge of the battlefield. Only 62 HP, but my Exalted Hero does break to the Spirit Leeches and the Scourge Runners, and Hadri's is able to stabilize his Dreadlord, which means the Dreadlord is probably going to be able to turn around with its crossbow and finish off my Exalted Hero, pushing him off the battlefield. Down he goes, falling to the earth. Very well played, very close situation, honestly. I really needed to get him off the battlefield, and if I could have there and kept my Exalted Hero, that could have been a game-changing moment for sure, but it's still a very tight game, like I said. So I have the Warp Chicken, I have my Marauder Horseman, I have a couple Chaos Marauders, I have some Halberds in the back, and my Hell Cannon is pretty much 100% out of ammo. Bounce of Power is relatively even, slightly Dark Elf favored since their Lord came back. You guys could probably see that when the Bounce of Power did normalize there and went to the middle for a moment, it was when his Dreadlord went back. And once again, Hadri's does a beautiful job dodging my Searing Doom here. I've been trying to get him with that all game. I got maybe like one or two good casts on things, but for the most part, he has been able to dodge it. It makes me think that I probably should have just brought like Final Transmutation on the bird, just get a couple casts of that and ignore the Searing Doom. But Searing Doom can be good against like Missile Play and Dark Shards and Shades, things like that. So really wanted to get my value there. So now, guys, we have the Marauder Horseman circling about trying to get picks, and I do see his Lord coming back, and obviously this thing does hit hard with its crossbow, has breath attack, so I need to finish it. So here we're going to be sending in the Marauder Horseman, hunting the beast, and we'll see if they can bring it down. Only 62 HP, it's not going to take a whole lot. 53-45. Hadri's doing a pretty good job juking despite that, but we should be able to finish off the beast with a couple loose javelins here. 11 HP, and down goes the Dreadlord, falling to join the Exalted Hero. But alas, it does not change the bounce of power too much. Scourge Runners are chasing here, but I have a little bit of ammo left, so I can certainly kite them and get some value on these guys. 80 armor is pretty good, though, so should help out. And the Warp Chicken was afflicted by a Spirit Leech. Now, he has really good magic resist, but at this point, like, every morsel of HP counts for something, right? It's just such a close slobber knocker of a game. So Sartorial juking about, just trying to stay away from the Corsair handbows and some of the repeater crossbows, so just kind of pulling back here. The Hounds are able to juke over here and get on top of the repeater crossbows. I think they're going to catch him. 92 speed, the Hounds do have 95. They nip at the heels, and when the poison kicks in, I should be able to catch him here. But you can see, yes, the poison is in. 69 speed, that's what she said, and there goes the Dark Riders. They are indeed pushed off, but the Warhounds have to fall back because the Supreme Sorceress, or the regular Sorceress, is able to screen me out, and she's not bad in combat. I mean, she's still a heroic character fighting against some very beat-up Warhound units. So the Warp Chicken getting hit with a Spirit Leech once again. I try and catch his Dread Spears with a Searing Doom here, but once again, a really good dodge here from Hadri's. But the Chicken is going to be going down to a Spirit Leech. Who would have ever thought? And that was really big. Being able to use the Spirit Leeches to finish off my Chicken, just game-changing for sure. Because with the Chicken having even 500 HP, despite the bounce power being even, I think I had a massive advantage with him being able to anchor on top of the Halberds and make a last stand. But that was a very clutch play there. In the meantime, Marauder Horsemen are hunting down what they can, able to shatter off some of the Dark Riders, and these guys have just been huge all game. Not too many kills, but good pressure, good anti-skirmishing, and good mobility, which has been huge for chasing off routing units and harassing some of these mobile Dark Elf pieces. So the Dark Elves are pretty much out of business and ammunition as well. They do, of course, have some of the Blackheart Corsairs, which are kiting and shooting against some of the Marauders, but I'm more than happy for them to waste their ammo against Marauders. Although at this point, it's not really a waste. You pretty much have to deal with them eventually. And guys, the Chaos Dwarves are coming. So look at the Chaos Dawi marching in the distance. These bad boys are coming for blood. The Dawi DLC, the Chaos Dwarf DLC is here, confirmed. And here come the Hell Cannon crew. Now, as far as their combat stats, 18, 14, 28, not terrible. You know, not terrible. 28 weapon strength is something. It can hurt some of these Dread Spears and maybe put a slight dent in the armor of the Blackheart Corsairs. So we'll see how that goes. So now, guys, bounce power is in the favor of Hadri's, but I do have a ton of the Halberds here, which are pretty good against a lot of what he has. And, of course, having the mobile horsemen, which can break the leadership of routing units, and rear charge is very impactful. So now the fight of fights is here. Scourge Runners are charging in, and the Halberds taking a brutal rear charge. Unfortunately, not much I can do about that. I did try and turn around and brace, but I'm being attacked in the back here from these Blackheart Corsairs, so there really wasn't too much I can do. So my Chaos Warriors here holding to the bitter end. I do, of course, have the Marauder Horsemen doing some light cycle charging here into the Corsairs. And the Chaos Dwarves are coming. Of course, the Supreme Sorceress eyeing those guys down. Hadri's and I were actually chatting during this game, and I was like, the Dwarves are coming. And he's like, yes, they're my top priority as these mighty Dawi march forward. And here you can see some of the Scourge Hunter chariots are being taken apart by the Marauder Horsemen, able to crump them in the late game. You can see this one's at 419, and for the most part, yeah, getting some really big value. Because those chariots, if they could just freely cycle charge my Chaos Warriors, would be game-ending for sure. Just absolutely game-ending. And despite the fact that this balance of power is very Dark Elf favored, it's still a very close game. These Halberds are no joke. 100 armor is pretty damn good against all the low AP here. So they're holding. Some of the chariots do charge back in, but some of them a little bit of a limp charge. They did, of course, get a mass nerf, so they're not quite what they used to be as it pertains to their mass. And it looks like some of them are going to be charging into the Chaos Dwarves. But of course, the Chaos Dwarves, the Hell Cannon crew is unbreakable, so those dwarves will get run over, and they'll be happy to take that. And really didn't take any damage at all from the Scourge Runners, which is quite hilarious. And yeah, basically just a scratch, merely a flesh wound. And guys, look at this! Corsairs are breaking, chariots are breaking. My horsemen are able to finish off, I think, one of the Scourge Runners over there. And now we're going to be fanning out in pretty much every direction, trying to chase off these different units where we can. So this one Marauder Horseman is going to be going in. No, but it breaks. I was going to try and chase off the Corsairs. We get a rear charge here, guys, and we break the Scourge Runners. They are actually broken. One is down for the count. The other Scourge Runner is broken as well, 120 HP, taking anti-large armor-piercing attacks from the Halberds, and also charges here from the Marauder Horsemen. And guys, Chaos is still in the game. Over here, Marauder Horsemen are going to be trying to chase off those Corsair handbows, but we'll see if they are able to stabilize here. And the Chaos Warriors are really proving to be a very durable anchor, up to 75 kills, able to, of course, do very well against the low AP values here of the Blackheart Corsairs, which have, you know, decent weapon strength at 28, but proportionately speaking, I'm pretty sure their AP values aren't great. Let's go and double check here. So they have, what is their weapon strength? 28, with only 7 of that being armor piercing. So very, very low AP values on those guys. In the meantime, Marauder Horsemen just cycle charging where we can, but Hadri's doing a pretty good job with his Dread Spears, kind of keeping me at bay. But guys, the mighty Chaos Dwarfs, I think, are in combat now. If we see, there are a couple Hell Cannon Dwarfs fighting here. Let's remember, 57 kills is what they have now, and let's see if they can get more. Supreme Sorceress charges in. My troops are wavering. It's such a close game, even though the bounce is like this. So I charge in the back into the Corsairs, which does a little bit of damage on impact. Not much, of course, but could potentially break their leadership. My halberds are in a bit of a precarious situation, but the Supreme Sorceress is also taking a lot of anti-large shots here from the halberds, which is very impactful. Now, if we look around, it looks like my horses did rout before they were actually able to finish off the Black Ark Corsairs. So there is another group of Corsairs coming in once again, but some wild marauders appear from the west or east or some other direction that seems impactful. And they charge in, they get the rear charge penalty here on some of the Dread Spears, and the Black Ark Corsairs break and my halberds hold. And guys, the balance of power is pulling back towards the middle. Absolute madness here. Marauder Horsemen are coming back here. These ones probably are going to shatter, but the Supreme Sorceress really isn't great in combat here. You can see she's taking huge damage here from the anti-large attacks. That attack there did about 30 or 40 damage, give or take. And the Dread Spears are now piling in, but Dread Spears are going to be truly a wet noodle here against 1300 HP on my Chaos Warriors. So the Chaos Dawi are going to be charging to intercept the Corsairs, trying to just break them, but of course, yeah, I think I realized it wasn't going to be a great call, so I pulled them back in, and now my Marauder Horsemen charge in once again, a rear charge into the back of the Dread Spears, down to -6 leadership. Can we break them? It is so damn close, and the Supreme Sorceress is quite low as well, and the Chaos Warriors are holding very, very firm here. I mean, they're wavering, but considering all the circumstances, it's a very firm hold. Yes, so I did end up sending the Chaos Dwarves into the Black Ark Corsairs, but they're able to get past me here. It's a bit of just a multi-leveled surround here. You can see the Sorceress is wavering. Everything is wavering. My forces are, but the Chaos Warriors break. Oh no, that is so bad. But look at this, guys. Everything is breaking for the Dark Elves as well as the Chaos Dwarves charge in. The Sorceress is broken. The Spears are broken. The Corsairs, just everything is broken except the Chaos Dwarves. Are the Chaos Dwarves going to be the defining meta unit here in this matchup? You can see all the Dark Elves are running for the hills. But alas, I don't know if they're going to be able to break these guys. It's going to be a little bit tricky here. Sorceress is broken, but I have nothing to punish here. If my Chaos Warriors came back in this moment, I would win the game, 100%. But the Corsairs chasing them is so clutch, and the fact that my Horsemen weren't able to get them is allowing the Dark Elves to come back here, and from there, it's pretty much doomed. The Chaos Dwarves are chasing. I was just trying to break off the Black Ark Corsairs, but the Supreme Sorceress is able to chase down my Chaos Dwarves, and that is going to be the game. It was so damn close. If those Chaos Warriors with halberds had come back, I would have probably won the game for sure. But man, just a nail-biter of a match. Incredibly close. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. We had a great time playing that game. I remember we were both laughing about the Chaos Dwarves carrying the game, and it was just a real back-and-forth match. So the biggest mistake, obviously, that I think early on led to me losing the game was losing my Chaos Knights. I took a probably 1,500 gold deficit right away very early in the game, which kind of left me fighting a little bit kind of naked there. Whereas like had I just been conservative with my Chaos Knights and my Hounds and just sat back with them and then had them in the late game, man, I would have been in really good shape. So that was a huge mistake on my part that ultimately cost me the game, but you know, we still almost came back. It was a really fun game. Hadri's played super well, dodging most of the skill shots, and was just an absolute beast. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Warriors of Chaos vs. Dark Elf game, and on that note, we will see you on the other side. Take care.